Now let's use the consumer choice model and the process of comparative statistics to answer our initial problem. Tom first wants to transfer him from Seattle office to his London office, where he will face higher cost of living. His employer, however, will pay him an after-tax salary in British pounds so that he can buy the same bundle of goods in London that he's currently buying in Seattle. And the question is the company overcompensating Tom? We'll begin by assuming Tom's initial situation before he moves to London is at the consumer equilibrium, the tangency point between his budget line in Seattle and one of his indifference curve for books and meals. At that tangency point, he consumes X1 books and Y1 meals. How does this equilibrium change when Tom moves to London? Well, we can make two assumptions about the difference in cost of living Tom will face in London, so let's investigate both of them separately. One possibility is that although prices of books and meals in London are higher than in Seattle, the ratio to each other stays the same. For instance, suppose prices of both books and meals in London are twice what they are in Seattle. In this case, Tom's budget would shift downward but with the same slope. When both prices increase at 100%, Tom's purchasing power falls in a proportional way. If Tom was now given some extra compensation for this loss in purchasing power, he will have to move to a lower indifference curve. Yet, the problem stays his company is committed to pay him enough salary to still be able to afford the consumption bundle he was buying in Seattle. Therefore, the company is preventing the budget line to shift at all and is holding Tom at the same consumption. Under this assumption, the company is compensating Tom perfectly and his satisfaction remains the same in London as it was in Seattle. Yet, a more realistic assumption is that the ratio of prices in London will be different than the ratio of prices in Seattle. For instance, suppose the prices of both books and meals is higher in London, but that the change in price of meals is greater than the change in books. If this is the case, the slope of the budget line will change and also shift to the left. And if the company does not compensate Tom for this change, he would again end up with a lower satisfaction in London. But again, the company will pay Tom enough money so that he could continue to buy Bundle A, the original bundle he was purchasing in Seattle. This means that the company is going to shift the budget line again up so that it passes through the original consumption bundle. But notice that this budget line has a different slope. And here's where something interesting happens. Notice that point A is not a tangent point between the new budget line and Tom's previous indifference curve. Hence, there must be another indifference curve to the right of the original one Tom can now afford. In other words, the company is clearly overcompensating Tom because he's able to achieve a higher indifference curve at this point. But how could this be? Well, think about it. Tom does not have to buy a fixed quantity of each good in order to be happy. If the price of meals in London are relatively more expensive than books, Tom is perfectly happy reading a little more and going out to eat a little less in London than in Seattle. Yet the company is not accounting for Tom to be able to do that, and hence ends up overcompensating him.